This program is brought to you by the Media Liberty Alliance Foundation in cooperation with OBBM Network TV, bringing citizen-led, creative local media to the forefront of local communities to foster a greater understanding of constitutional liberty and appreciation of what makes us truly free, starting with you and me.
The Zach Ratliff Show is sponsored by Mortgage Financial in Texarkana, Exceed Health Clinic, Elmwood Custom Goods, and Church on the Rock, Texarkana. That's churchontherock.org. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. That way you're updated each time fresh content comes out. And thank you for being part of the Zach Ratliff Show. Hello and welcome to the Zach Ratliff Show.
Thank you.
I'm Zach. Yeah, and that's Steve. What's going on, Steve? It's been a couple weeks since you've been here.
It has, hasn't it?
Yeah, what's up with that?
Well, you invited me, but it was on days that I was elsewhere.
Yeah, it's like we have jobs or something.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I do.
well, yeah, I do as well. Multiple.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You can always make an excuse. I was doing the other job.
yeah. Well, I just have to do the one that pays more than the one that doesn't.
Let's see. Where have I been? I've been all over the Metroplex. I've been to Southern Louisiana.
Yeah,
Went to, let's see, I've been to...
where they say go wrong, or
they spell it wrong. Yeah. I've been down to Baton Rouge area.
Yeah.
And they spell everything wrong. Been to the Opelousas area.
Yeah.
That's Acadiana. I didn't know this,
Yes,
but that
it
little
is.
region is Cajun country. I figured it's Louisiana. That's just because I don't
My
know.
mom used to
It's
live
white
down
privilege
there.
or something.
She's very big on saying all those names right.
Oh, yeah. I go down through there, and I took some French in college, and I say all the names, and I talk to people who live there, and it's like, wrong.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
But that's where I was. And it's a very discreet, well-defined area for the people who live there.
They know.
But
they don't let you know.
Well, they would tell me. Most of the times people are willing to explain things to me if I ask.
Wow, that's funny how that works in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into it. As we look outside, what's the song? Storms are gathering in the east. Anyway, snow clouds rolling in, and
I fell into a burning.
yeah, I don't know if that's it, but
That's what popped into my mind.
so we're gonna try to play with a little,
That'd be Hawaii. Taking a lodge.
and so we're gonna try to play with a little bit of that here.
Our premium listener, that's his theme song.
That's his theme song. So, but we're going to go with this and see what we can. So, Steve's got a story about this. Is where we're going.
I'll start telling the story.
Yeah.
So, probably 15 years ago.
You can see it on your screen now.
Cool. I can't. Yes, I can. There's a lot of glare. So 15 years ago or so, there was a huge storm that was forecast to come this way. And you look on the radar, and it really, really was huge. And it really did have a lot of red in it and not the pretty green things we like.
And like I said, if you're listening, we're looking at it. We're showing that on the
We
screen.
are.
If you're watching, you can see it.
Yeah, if you're watching, you can see it. If you're listening, I'll describe it. It's radar, and it looks bad. So it was coming towards Texarkana, and Jim Cantori, I think, went to Arkadelphia so he could stand out in the
From
rain.
the Weather Center, Jim
Right, yeah,
Cantori.
from the Weather Channel, sorry. So he could stand out in the rain. It's his hobby. And so they say that if you get on a plane and Jim Cantori gets on the plane, get off the plane because
Right.
you don't want to
Don't
go
go
there.
there,
Yeah. So that was the thing. It was like, I don't know if it was like a storm of the century or anything, but it was like humongous storm. I mean, violent storm. And so at church, we decided we prayed against the storm. And that's legit because Jesus said the things I do, you'll do, and even more. And he calmed the storm. So why can't we? So we prayed that the storm would go around us. And then we added to that, and that Jim Cantori would be bored, would have a boring night. And if you're looking at the screen right now, you can see that this huge storm split. I think down around Mount Pleasant is where it split, maybe a little further. But if you look at the graphic on the screen, for those of you that are video impaired, it shows this giant storm that is split, basically I-30 from I can't see.
From Mount Pleasant. It's split at Mount Pleasant, and it's split, basically starts coming back together at Arkadelphia.
Yeah. Actually, past that.
Yeah.
So the storm did split. It did go around us. And Jim Cantori, if that's who I remember, it did happen, that whoever it was in Arkadelphia that was going to stand out in the rain said, well, this has been a boring evening. And that's what we prayed for. So God answers prayers. We know that. And I talk about that a lot at the Bowie County Patriots, that in terms of pray for things to go well in our government, pray for good elections, pray for honest politicians, pray for, all these things that we need, pray for accountability and all that. So we're supposed to have a pretty big ice storm come this way. It's actually diminished quite a bit since we first heard about it a few days ago. We'd heard a foot of snow, and now we're hearing, inch of snow.
Right.
But the ice is the troubling part. Snow means kids don't go to school. The ice means people have wrecks. So we don't want the ice. So if you want to pray for the whole thing to fizzle, that's the word we're using, fizzle. In Jesus' name, fizzle.
Okay.
So if you want to pray for the whole thing to fizzle, or if you I have a school teacher friend that said, I really want the snow. I don't want to go to work Monday. So if in her honor, you can pray for just enough snow to close the schools, but not enough to cause problems.
I'm praying for enough to go out and have fun with my daughter and to have some good time, but I don't want to get hurt. Because I even had to tell God, it's real selfish of me to pray, to not be worried about the storm, because I don't want anybody to die. Because and obviously God ain't going to be like, okay, it's going to do this just because of Zach. But, he
does answer our prayers.
Both. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, and I believe he answers our prayers enough that I pray with the expectation that it will be answered.
There was a lady online that had really strong faith in prayer.
Yeah.
She said, no, don't pray that. We need the moisture.
Right.
So, yay, faith. But how about we pray for non-winter storm rain?
Or the roads to stay safe.
I applaud her faith.
Absolutely.
But there's workarounds.
Yeah. So what are we looking at now?
That's a graphic I made from 5 years ago during the snowpocalypse. And I think it happened in the first week or so of February. I can't see the dates.
Monday morning, 2:15.
Oh, okay. So about 3 weeks from now would be 4 years ago.
So it says 8 inches of snow on Monday.
Yeah.
And then you have a picture from Thursday afternoon, the 18th of February, 2021, and it was 13 inches of snow.
Yeah, and that's on my doghouse in my backyard. And there's some pretty good pine trees around, so it might have had a little more snow than that. And the center has a graphic, I think, from Wednesday that it was, what was the temperature?
-3.
-3, which is the coldest. And I didn't see that on an outside thermometer. I saw that. I have an older house, and so maybe that my outside thermometer might have said 3.
Right.
Just from the heat. But that's the coldest I remember in my lifetime. That's the most snow I remember in my lifetime.
Is it?
Yeah. Here. I know of other places. I've been seeing pictures of snowdrifts in Russia that are as high as
AI.
Yeah. I don't know how many were, but there was
the one that was as high as a building it had an AI tag on it that I saw.
Did it? Okay. Okay.
But I've been seeing that one lady had to tunnel out of her house.
Yeah, that happens all the time. Yeah, that's often snowdrifts, often not.
Yeah. But anyway, we got the storm coming. We'll try to get this episode. This
in Jesus' name, fizzle.
Yeah, and this episode's pointless if we don't get it out today. And we air it on Monday, and it's like, what happened?
So if you see this on Monday, don't look it up. If you're not in this area, go ahead and pray anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know how that works, but why not?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Pray that we're okay. All right, let's jump into it. Let's jump into what Christians Engage and Richie had going at Church on the Rock on Wednesday.
Man, she did an awesome job with that.
Yeah.
It's not just her. There's other people, but I think it's her vision. She's the leader of that group. It's called Christians Engaged. It's meant to get Christians engaged, and because we need to be.
But I thought there was a separation of church and state.
Well, here's the thing. No,
there's not.
No, the Constitution says that Congress can't establish a law can't establish a religion or prefer a religion. I think it's the modern terminology for it. It doesn't say that people can't have religion and politics. Because here's the thing: every bit of legislation ever passed is somebody's morality. It's somebody's version of morality. And in a lot of cases, it's somebody's morality that they're willing to enforce at the point of a gun.
Right.
So if you say you can't do this and somebody wants to do it, you're fine with arresting them, destroying their lives financially, potentially incarcerating them or killing them. So if you say the church needs to stay out of politics, well, what about your church? If you're pro-abortion, I'll be blunt. I see that as child sacrifice. You know what? Keep your religion out of politics.
I mean, yeah. And a lot of people do see it as that.
It's a little harsh. I'm fine with it because I think that's I think it's true.
Well,
a lot of people that are pro-life, okay, I'm pro-choice. They're not thinking about child sacrifice. They're thinking about something else. And if you don't agree with me, that's okay.
And
I'm sorry. You don't have to. It's better if you do. But if a lot of people, they grow up believing all these myths and lies and things. It's a clump of cells. We know it's not. We've known that for 20 or 30 years.
When they came out with that, even you can even go with, golly, my mind just went blank on evolution. Oh, everything came from one cell. That was before you had you could magnify and look inside a cell and see all the life inside of it.
Right.
I mean, it's an outdated philosophy. And even if you look up actual evolution, a lot of that has.
I see a thing every once in a while. What is something you learned in school that's proven since to be false?
Yeah.
And I remember in high school learning ontogeny recapitulates phylogeny.
I don't know what that means.
It means that as the human embryo goes through its stages of development, it also demonstrates the stages of evolution.
Oh.
And so, like the part where the spinal column is formed before the lower extremities are, they go, that's a tail because we came from tadpoles.
Have you ever been to the?
It was never. When it came out with it, people going, "Oh no, dude!" But because it promotes evolution, it was pushed.
Pushed. See, and that was gone by the time I was.
Here's the thing: it was gone by the time I got there.
Oh.
This came out, I think, late 1800s, early 1900s, and people were going, "I don't know, dude." And as just a little more examination of it, they found out that's not true. And by the 50s, it was like completely no, that's not a thing.
Right.
I still learned it in high school.
Have you ever been to one of the human body exhibits?
Yes, like with all the
where it's their skin.
Yeah, it's like a cadaver and all that. Yeah, it's fascinating.
And the one I went to, they had, and there's a warning on it that's kind of graphic and gruesome, and but then they had another area with another warning where it was embryos.
Oh.
And you could see a baby. I don't remember if it was by weeks at some point from basically as soon as the baby was formed. Mm-hmm. And for those of you that hadn't seen it, these are real life subjects that are donated to science.
Yeah. And hopefully it's hard to say. Hopefully it was a miscarriage, not an abortion.
Right.
Typically abortions are more destructive and you don't see that.
Absolutely. But it was each stage of the development of the baby all the way through. And it was hard to look at, right? Because that's a real, but it's all hard to look at. You can see the nervous system, and that's a real from a real person. And you can see, I mean, it was bodies, right? But, and I mean, it sounds a little macabre, but, or macabre, if you're reading it.
Macabre. Yeah.
But it's very.
I mean, the person that said, "What if we pull all the nerves out of a cadaver and spray paint them with lacquer so they stay still and put them up on the?" That's a little weird to think about, but you know what? It's educational.
Right. Anyway, back to how we got here, which is Christians being engaged, needing to have faith.
Wow.
And we went a long way, but we're gonna bring that horse home back around here, and
that's why he invites me on.
Get in front of the wagon. So we had a political forum at Church on the Rock, nonpartisan, and what? How many people showed up?
300 to 400.
I felt like it was more than that, but I didn't count.
I didn't turn around and look. You stood up on stage and looked at them.
I did. You did? I felt like we're 400, 450-ish. I mean,
and it was a regular Wednesday night at Church on the Rock. But instead of having a church service, worship service, and all the things we usually do this time of year, Richie and her team put on a nonpartisan candidate forum. I think there's another descriptive word in there, but still, a nonpartisan forum.
Yeah.
And so anybody who was running for office could get up and say their name, what they were running for, and give a little pitch.
Yeah. And so I'm going to play mine, and then we'll talk about how I won. So here's a minute of what I had to say. Maybe. hold on. Let me try.
Were you whispering?
Maybe I was whispering. Yeah. I don't know.
I can actually see myself on the monitor.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead and talk about who else was there while I try to figure this out.
So I'm not sure. A lot of local offices like city council, things like that, school board, you don't say whether you're a Democrat or Republican,
right?
Because it's just a position that you're filling. And so I don't know who was Democrat, who was Republican for a lot of these things, but there were people from Arkansas side and Texas side. We had people running for school board, people running for...
there
I
you
also
go.
am running for
Go ahead. Now they're all right. Go ahead.
there was people running for city council, for school board, for county judge.
You know, and Corey Mobbs, who's been on this show, was there. I mean, she gave a great 1 minute. I mean, she did good.
Yes, I was impressed with all these people, especially the two guys running for county judge on the Arkansas side.
One of them has been on here. And,
I just saw his some of his swag a minute ago.
Yeah.
Right? But these two guys, apparently, I think they said there's 7 people running for county judge.
6 Republicans, 1 Democrat.
6? Okay. Well, 2 showed up.
Right.
And apparently they've seen each other enough that they have a lot of respect for each other.
They're the only ones that keep showing up so far, is my understanding.
That I could see it. I could see how other candidates would be intimidated, really.
Right.
Because they were sharp guys. They knew their stuff. They didn't contradict each other. They just had slightly different visions for what to do, I guess, prioritize. But not that slight. If we could put them both in at once.
Well, and that's what I liked about the way this whole thing went. It wasn't people trying to slap each other around. It was trying to do, trying to make their points. But anyway, here's what I had to say for the minute I got to talk.
11A. The Republican Party, as of late, is going through a change. We're going through a time when too many Republicans just show up and only vote for us when we don't need them. They're afraid to take a bold stand. They're afraid to push back on the politicians that don't do what they're supposed to do. They look at it as a cruise ship, a get well, a go have a good time popularity contest to be in office. We're on a battleship. We're fighting for our values. We're fighting for our Christian values. We need to expect the people that we represent to expect us and that represent us to have a clue about how we actually feel. I'm not doing it just to go shake somebody's hand and be at the social functions. I care about where this country goes. I care about where this county goes. I care about where my precinct goes, and I want to say in it before it goes south. Thank you.
So there you go. And
55 seconds.
yeah. Well, and what you don't know is we had the Crimson Grinch standing in the back, and I know there was a timer running, but I like for her to be involved. I like for her to see Dad being involved, and it's good for her to see that we can make an impact as people. We love Jesus. We can make an impact. We matter no matter. Don't feel too small to matter. Right. And that's one thing that I try to get through to her all the time. So anyway, she had my phone in the back and she was running a timer too. And we had practiced it. We got there early. And so we practiced with me going up to the stage, her staying in the back. At 30 seconds, she rose her hand. So I knew we were 30 seconds away. And then at 50 seconds, she gave me a number 2 to know I only had 10 seconds left. And so we practice these things
cool.
when I give speeches elsewhere, but it gets her involved and that way she's helping. So I didn't necessarily watch the timer so much as I watched her.
Yeah.
And so I went off of, because she needs to know she's important.
Was that what you were going to say before you walked up there?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Now, we had some other people get up and talk about how long they've been in part of the system and being entrenched in part of the system. And I'm like, what the heck? That's what we're fighting against.
Yeah.
I don't need you. I don't need you to be there if you haven't done anything for me yet.
Yeah, and that's what there's a lot of people that are involved in politics that think that that's the case. I've been your state senator for 3 terms. You should send me back. Well, that's not the question. The question is, what have you done that's good? What have you done that's bad? And let's contrast you to someone who's running against you. And in that case, I think you nailed it.
Right. Because
there's too many people that think of politics, or they get involved in politics at the local level because they hope to get their picture made with somebody famous.
And I'm nobody. In the light of Jesus, I'm somebody in my little girl's eye. I'm somebody in my mom and dad's eye.
Sure.
But, I don't hold myself to be anything more than somebody that loves Jesus and loves my daughter and loves my family.
Yeah.
Right. And that being said, I don't have the need to go around and kiss somebody's butt so that they shake my hand and tell me they like me and tell me I'm pretty.
Yeah.
Like it's just.
Oh my gosh! I went to a debate in Canton, Texas, Van Zandt County. Nancy White, who's been on your show, she's the one who put all that together, and it was huge. It was pretty neat.
Right. And we're working on getting her back on, by the way.
Yeah, she's cool. Maybe I can come with her.
Yeah. Well, I told her she could do a call-in if she wanted to.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we talked about that. I saw her. Yeah. Somebody walks up to me. So I'm towards the back. I got there, I don't know, 20 minutes late after it started. And but I got there early before the people I wanted to see. I don't want to see all some I just didn't care about. And I mean that in a nice way. And so I was there, and I was standing towards the back, and I think I was there. I walked in as a couple of people were talking, a little bit of a debate back and forth, I think. And then I said hi to a couple of people that I recognized as I walked in, and then I walked up just in time to see Dr. Pete Chambers, do his thing. He didn't have a debate because nobody came except him, so he just got 15 minutes of them asking him questions.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Which we've seen him answer actual questions, not pre-prepared questions.
Yeah.
Like, he will answer. Well, anybody that watches the show saw him in here for an hour and a half. I mean,
Yeah, I do like the guy. So I walked up at the back of the crowd. So behind the crowd is all the booths, and then off to the one side there's all the booths for the candidates. Their tables, whatever you want to call them. And anyway, I walked up, and as I'm watching Pete, I see, that's what we call him, Pete, because that's his name. Some guy walks up to me and he says, "It's good to see you again. Thanks for coming. I'll see you soon." And he says that 2 or 3 people, including me, shook my hand really aggressively. I mean, like, nah.
Yeah. And you're like, I don't know.
Like he'd had 3 or 4 of these things. And
those things are not beer. It's Black Rifle Coffee Company espresso.
With 300.
That's enough to kill you.
So far, it hasn't.
300 milligrams of caffeine.
I'm hoping it helps me do the job better today. So
There you go.
Usually I just have water, lemonade.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this guy's like, super aggressive. And he walks off, and I'm like, who was that? And they told me, I don't feel the need to burn him right now.
Yeah.
They told me, and I'm like, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
I feel greasy right now. It's like, some of the campaign things that
you do that feeling of.
Yeah, I was about to make fun of Bill Clinton, but I'm not going to. But he did that, and a lot of things he did. He was like super good at crowd work, and
Bill
I could point to somebody, and go, "Hey, they say he really could," but I don't think it happened every single crowd he was in. So if he's in Southern California and they'd never been to, Hope, Arkansas.
A side note.
I'm not going to take it away from him because he might have known everybody in the crowd he ever waved at.
Well, so a guy that my dad knows was telling Dad that, he had met Bill Clinton 1 or 2 times in person and then happened to be at something in like New York. And Clinton actually sees him in the crowd on happenstance and goes, "Hey, so-and-so. From
that's a cool
so-and-so." And like,
that's a cool gift.
It was legitimate because he's like, I didn't know this guy well enough. He's like, and I wasn't,
Okay, so the guy that came by and did all that stuff with me, I'd never met him before. And it was just the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
And so I don't care to have him to the Bowie County Patriots. We invite people, all these candidates, as many as we can get there, we do that. And I'm like, he's off the list because that was just bizarre, man.
You know why some people say good to see you again? Because they don't want to insult you by saying, "Hey, I'm so-and-so," and then you'd be like, "Oh, well, we met on the 13th of June, and I can't believe you don't remember me."
Yeah, that's true. And I get that at church sometimes. There's, people.
3,000 people there.
Right? And so I don't say, "Hey, good to meet you," or whatever. I say, "Hey, nice to see you here."
I usually say, "Hey, this is Steve," and then they introduce themselves to you. But sometimes they go, "Well, I already know Steve," and then I still don't know their name.
And then I forget their name because everybody's Bubba.
Yeah, that's right.
So anyway, how did we get off on that? We were talking about
Van Zandt County, the debate.
I know, but
we were talking about the political forum and meeting people. And people that
and then
stick to the party and won't just being part of the party is.
And there's political organizations within Texas that have a decent sized footprint.
Yeah.
Just activism. That's not really the right word.
Right.
And they're known to be establishment. If you're the incumbent, that's who they're for.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend or an acquaintance, whatever, that was running for office, and he said, "That's one of the good things about so and so. They're going to endorse me just because I'm the incumbent."
Which is crazy.
So he didn't have to put as much effort in when he went to see them. So it's good to. I have a cool story from that event too.
Okay.
I shared it last night. Can I share it again?
Yeah.
Okay. So Pete Chambers, career military. There was a period in there that he wasn't in the military, which is when he went to medical school. Then we got back in the military after 9/11. He has a military German Shepherd. It's not like a service dog like helps you if you have epilepsy. It's a service dog that he probably had a rank in the military.
War,
yeah. And so Pete, I met
crazy thing, just in history, they had war dogs. And she's got 300 milligrams of caffeine.
Yet.
They had war dogs in history, and we still have them.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So I've met the dog. His name's Joe. You can tell he's elderly.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's still capable of doing what he needs to do. Pete told me that when he would be on patrol, the dog would be out 20, 30, 40 feet away from him and just going back and forth in arcs, smelling, sniffing for people, for explosives, drugs, whatever. Yeah, danger. So Pete's fiancée, Lydia, who's been on your show with him, I know them. I've seen them at several events, and they're enjoyable to talk to. And so I'm walking towards a candidate's booth to see about getting them to come to the Bowie County Patriots, and I see Lydia coming across almost at a 90-degree angle off to the side, and so I just shift towards her. I'd rather talk to her than some candidate's lackeys.
Right.
And I mean that in a nice way. So I turned toward her, and she didn't see me. But when I turned toward her, she's walking with Joe. I left that part out.
But she's a German Shepherd.
The German Shepherd, yeah, Pete's dog. And he's walking next to her. She's got the leash kind of doubled up, and she's holding it like this, or holding it close to her body. And Pete is like right next to her, inches away at most. And I turned toward her, and Pete saw me turn.
Joe saw you.
Joe, sorry.
Yeah.
Joe saw me, the dog. Joe, the German Shepherd military dog, saw me turn toward her. We made eye contact, me and Joe. And Joe immediately started steering her, not just moving her left and right.
Shepherding.
Steered her toward me. And so as he turned her, she saw me and walked toward me, and we talked a second. I said, "Did you notice Joe nudging you toward me?" She goes, "Yes, he herds me."
That's funny.
I noticed, it's just 2 or 3 weeks ago, I noticed he's doing that. And I asked Pete, "Is he doing that?" He goes, "Well, he's a shepherd."
That's what he does.
And so, we meet cool people in politics.
Yeah.
And I don't have that many politicians that I really actually like.
Right.
I'd want to hang out with. Pete and Lydia are an exception.
Yeah.
There's several. Not that many compared to the people like me and you that I know.
Yes.
So it's how friendships work. If you have people you think are cool and they think you're cool, that's a nice life.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But so having this dog who is responsible for Lydia's safety, and he does move her back and forth through crowds. He sees where she's going, and he looks at everybody, and he just nudges her a little bit or pulls her so that she's going to a safer part of the crowd. He saw me. This dog saw me, thought, friend, Lydia needs to see him, and steered her toward me.
Safe place.
Yeah. That's the coolest thing that's happened to me in quite a while.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we were talking about incumbents and all that, and which that's a cool story. But
Thanks.
just about.
I think you're cool, Zach.
Yeah, thanks. I think you're cool, Steve. But about just that doesn't automatically make you who you need to be.
Oh my gosh, you're not an activist just because you've had your picture made with the governor.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's
Or the mayor.
exactly- because I've seen pictures, even I've seen pictures of people that are running in this local race of they put up like, oh, I'm at all these events, and there's a picture of them with Greg Abbott. Well, I've got a picture with Greg Abbott. That doesn't mean he knows me.
Right.
I've met him, I don't know, 4 or 5 times, or even Ken Paxton. I legitimately sat beside Ken Paxton at a football game at the University of Arkansas years ago in a booth, and so at one of these events because everybody comes up and talks about, oh, good to meet you. I sat down in the chair beside him. I said, actually, we've met. And of course, so he didn't just give me oh yeah, of course we did. I said, no, I met you sitting in so-and-so booth. It was me, you, Asa Hutchinson, and you were there. And I gave him the reasons why he was there. And then it clicked in his mind. He goes, oh yeah, I do remember that. To that, it's not a draw, but it's easy to. So
it's a cool story, but it's not something to base your personality or your self-worth on.
Right, and it doesn't make me his friend, or him my friend. I happen to be in the same place. It'd be like going to McDonald's and then declaring all those people your friends that are there.
Sure, yeah.
It doesn't work that way. You just happen to be at the same place.
And if you call yourself involved in politics and you think that the incumbents are always worthy of your support, I don't think you're paying attention.
Right.
Because there's almost always something you could do better.
Right.
So the cool thing about the Miller County judge race is that when one of those guys is going to win, and when he gets, he can serve a couple of terms and have the other guy serve a couple of terms, and Miller County is like,
Yeah,
doing really well because both of those guys are sharp. So, and so what you said, back to that, this time I'm the one that drove the pony back.
Right, yeah.
Back to what you said, that's the difference, I think. Anybody who's been an incumbent in the county party for any period of time, either they're pushing to get things changed, or they're happy with how they are.
Yes.
And I think that second group is much larger than the first.
Happy with how
And I'm not trying to insult anybody.
Nope.
But
we just have different views on some stuff too.
We do. And if you think that the incumbent is always doing the best job of anybody out there, you have a right to your opinion. But I don't.
And here's what people probably
there's any evidence for that.
Yeah. Well, here's what people probably don't know about you and I, and a couple of people in the Patriots even. There are things that I just don't agree with y'all on. Mm-hmm. And we know that.
Yeah.
And we're okay with it. We work together closely.
Listen, if I insisted on everybody being right,
exactly.
I'd have a rough life.
Everybody
You
being
can
right.
be wrong.
And you can too. And so I appreciate that. But that's the thing. We don't need to agree 100% on everything. We need to agree on, I prefer that we agree on faith principles.
Sure.
Jesus Christ, Lord and Savior, way to heaven.
Yeah.
Solid. Let's have a strong family. There's some core beliefs that as long as we're holding these and we're for a smaller government and we want to progress and we can get past the others.
And we've talked about the things that we disagree on.
Yeah.
And I cannot remember any of them.
Exactly.
And it's not that I don't care. It's that they don't matter.
They weren't the bigger part of it.
You could say, "Oh, remember, it's this." And I go, "Oh, that's right."
Yeah.
But it doesn't affect.
It doesn't enter into the conversation.
I mean, there's one of the guys in the Patriots that's diametrically opposed to me on a very specific issue, and we get along great.
Right.
Last night, he made an announcement that his side had scored and my side hadn't.
Yeah.
And we both laughed about it.
And I did too.
He's like, "I know, I'm yay and you're boob. That's okay."
Right.
So that's what we look for. But this guy wants to see things progress too. This guy wants to see. I see ways this incumbent could improve, and I think that this person who's running would do a better job.
Right.
And that's legitimate. That's what we're supposed to be doing.
And that's what this was all about. But speaking of incumbents, and to move forward a little bit, I've got this from our Senate incumbent. And the person who put it up is from Carlos Turcos on X.com.
That's not a real person.
And I'll read what's said after we listen to our current Senator John Cornyn. And let's try that again. John Cornyn.
I want to take a moment to say Eid Mubarak to our Muslim friends observing Ramadan. Thanks to my friends at Islamic Relief USA.
Ramadan Mubarak.
Inshallah.
So Trump went to Dallas.
So anyway, what that is this then comes from, like I said, Carlos Turcos. He says, hey, there's a huge betrayal. Lone Star Liberty PAC released shocking video compilation of Rhino John Cornyn thanking his friends at Islamic Relief USA. Cornyn even praised Islam's false god by saying whatever he said there. He goes, Texas has been betrayed. It doesn't get any stronger than his own words. This is why we need and this ties back to Wesley Hunt and to Ken Paxton and Wesley Hunt being there, which is where I want to get to. Mm-hmm. John Cornyn, and this is what I was talking about in mind. We don't need people who are only with us when we don't need them.
Yeah.
We need someone that will boldly take a stand and say, look, Ephesians 6 says, be bold. The Bible says we don't have a spirit of fear. It doesn't say, oh, go say something, and then if everybody doesn't agree with it, backtrack and cower and run away.
Yeah.
In nowhere does the Bible say that.
No.
But
there's a lot of people who think that. Sorry.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that think that it says that, and it doesn't. And I even had this conversation today at a Bible study at 8 this morning. They were talking about Jesus and all that, and we got along. I said, hey, look. Jesus sat down, put a whip together, started flipping tables, whipped it, causes a stampede, runs people out, and still didn't sin. It's okay to be bold.
It is.
Now, we're not supposed to be hateful. We're not supposed to do it to harm people. We're not supposed to be malicious. But what I'm saying is to just because somebody is the incumbent, which John Cornyn is, doesn't mean we have to support him, even though he claims to be a Republican. His Republican and my Republican are two different things. Now, I have friends in Washington, D.C., that know John Cornyn. I have friends in DFW that know John Cornyn very well, and they cannot believe that I don't support him. Now, also on this,
One of our Patriots went to high school with him.
right, I agree with these people that I hold in high respect and regard on most things. I just don't agree with the way they feel about John Cornyn.
Yeah.
And so that I know they're going to vote for him. And of course, I told one of them the other day, well, my vote cancels you out.
Who was it that said vote early and vote off on Wednesday night? That was funny.
Oh, that was funny. One of the judges from Arkansas, I think.
I think it was, yeah. In Arkansas, you can do that.
Yeah, that's right. And anyway, but so this is another example of my beliefs aren't that we should be supporting the Liberty PAC that is supporting or Islamic Relief USA. No, I think they should assimilate, and that's a whole different thing. But we can't just support the incumbent. That's why you had Wesley Hunt come to the Patriots, and Dale and I talked about it either earlier this week, I think, and that's a big deal to get these guys here so we know who they really are, or at least who they present themselves
We
as.
get a little bit of an idea. I mean, Wesley Hunt was there. He had to leave fairly early, had to fly someplace else.
But he pushed that time back a little bit for us.
And he made a really good impression. There were some people there that were considerably younger than our average crowd. They were your age, not my age.
Yeah, that's right. Because I'm usually bringing the curve down.
Yeah, but we had more. It was really neat. And there was a lot of enthusiasm among those people for Senator or Congressman Hunt.
And we tried to put a show together that next, and we just couldn't. It kept missing. Oh, I had a funeral to go to or something that Monday.
Yeah.
And then so we just kind of it fell to today.
Yeah, and so he's a likable guy. He said all the right things. He didn't have much time, so he kind of punched it pretty fast.
Yeah,
and he answered some questions. He answered quite a few questions, actually.
Now let me tell you, if you pick this up, and Dale thinks, I feel this way, and I think Dale feels like this was alluded to. I felt like he was making the point that if Jasmine Crockett wins the Democrat primary and Wesley Hunt wins the Republican primary, it makes it real hard for the media to come out and say we're racist.
Wesley Hunt is black, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't think we said that.
Oh, yeah, because it doesn't matter to us.
Right. But, and it doesn't to me at all. But it is it is an interesting concept. And I hadn't thought about it until he said it.
Yeah, so I didn't know if I was remembering that right, but he did basically say, like, they can't come out and call us racist if we vote.
Well, he didn't say that. He just tossed it out there. I think it'd be a pretty interesting race if it's me against Jasmine. And I was
okay,
like,
so he.
Oh, it took me a second to go,
right.
Oh, because they're both black. And Jasmine's from around here. She's coming to the Bowie County Patriots in like 3 weeks, by the way.
Is she?
No.
No. Well, she's been there before.
She has, apparently, yeah, before my time.
Oh, okay.
I know her. When I knew her, I liked her.
Right.
And she liked me.
Well, that's the thing with most politicians. Any of them that I've ever met.
Well, she wasn't a politician then.
Right. But any of them I've ever met have a you can, they have a switch they can turn on where you can like them.
It's true.
I mean, everybody that's been on here, when people go, how'd it go? How are they? I'm like, oh, I liked them. So I agree with them.
If he, I'm sure he gets it already. He's called an Uncle Tom or sellout or whatever because he's a Republican. But I'm sure he would get a lot more of that if he runs against Jasmine.
Absolutely.
Because if there's one thing that Democrats hate, it is
black people
that get off the plantation. Yeah, it's black people that don't. I can be really tacky and say it's black people who don't know their place, and their place is in the Democrat Party.
In the Democrat mind. That's
exactly Joe
right.
Biden literally said, "If you don't vote for me, you ain't black."
Yeah, that's exactly.
And he's in charge of that.
Anyway, there we go.
Wesley Hunt seemed like a pretty good guy. Everybody liked him. Didn't really get to know him, I think.
Didn't get into a lot of policy.
Yeah.
And that's premium listeners' point is we didn't really have time for a lot of policy and all that. We good?
Yeah.
Okay. And all
text messages show up on my watch.
Oh, nice.
It is.
You know what we call that? And I just have to have fun. and with all the technology. Yeah. Anyway, so let's move on. Gunther Engelman has this from Greg Gutfeld on Fox News. Trump walks into Davos and reminds them they are not superior or even our equal. He didn't go to apologize or
This is the World Economic Forum.
Yep, correct. He went in to say two words: "You're welcome." And this is exactly what I've been saying for years now. Is they keep talking about their debt and all the things, and anybody that's ever traveled Europe knows. Oh, well, we should be more like Europe. They take 2-hour lunches in France. And yeah, it's also frustrating when you go to get on the subway from the airport in London and then they shut down in front of you because it's socialism and you can't get a ticket. Because trust me, this is from personal experience. And then next thing you know, you have to walk out and grab a cab, which costs you $60 because it's going to take so long. You're going to miss everything else because they move so slow because of the security that we have provided since 1945. Through our own blood, sweat, our tax dollars. And then I just saw maybe it was Scott Bessent, it might have been someone else, say that the U.S. military has spent $22 trillion towards European safety since 1945.
Yeah, and we've let them. We've enabled them to do all that stuff,
and we rebuilt their countries, and we gave them all this. And guess who never asked for a dime of it back?
Yeah, us.
That was us. Yeah. You're gonna. And so they talk about our debt and what we have. If we called our debt that Europe owes us, we would at least be back $22 trillion. And I venture to say we would have zero debt because they would owe us much more than we owe anybody in the world.
The World Economic Forum is behind a whole lot of the things that are going on in the world right now.
You used to have Klaus Schwab, and
their policies are not America friendly. Their policies are not capital friendly, and by capital I mean your money, your resources, your assets. They're not liberty friendly, and in a lot of ways they're not Christian friendly or faith friendly.
No, they're not.
So it's you can easily, I think, make the case that the entire reason for existence for the World Economic Forum is to suck America dry. Yeah. And the land of the free and the home of the brave would be the land of the enslaved.
Well, because we're not good. Well, so then to follow that up, you have, this is from World News on X.com at MAGA News. You have the German Chancellor, Friedrich Merz, came out and said the European Union has been a complete failure in front of the global elite. He doesn't say that without a Donald Trump as president.
Right.
I mean, let's be honest. He says Germany and Europe have wasted incredible potential, and we have become the world champion of over-regulation and zero growth, which is exactly what our Democrat counterpoints want when they're like, we need to be more like Europe. They want more regulation. They want zero growth. Mm-hmm. They want to rule over a failed state because they want to collapse us so much that we're like, you know what? Screw this type of government. Give us a strong man to run it.
Right.
Give us someone who's smart enough to do it for us.
That's the plan behind defund the police. It's not get less police officers on the street, fewer. It's to get more crime. And then when we have more crime, we go, we need the police. We go, well, we can't do it the way we did it before because those guys are corrupt and they'll beat up the wrong people. What we need is a national police force where they're well trained and we'll hold them to a higher standard.
When I saw this reported yesterday, and I don't know where.
And that's a false assumption that they will be held to a higher standard because
they won't be.
It looks from outside looking in on other federal agencies, probably not. And
you can look this up for me if you would. Yesterday, it was reported to me that the murder rate is down 20%. An all-time lowest drop in history, a one-time drop for the country. So
for our country?
So I don't, I just didn't have time to look it up, and I forgot about it until you were talking about crime. That's a big deal. I don't know what Steve is going to make it happen, see if that's true.
Well, it says U.S. murder rate has dropped to its lowest level since 1900, with a 21% decrease in 2025 compared to the previous year, making the largest one-year decline ever recorded. Here's the thing. There is a lot of liberal cities that just quit reporting it.
Right.
And so if you don't have their statistics, it does look lower. If all the violence that the United States is known for, if you take out, I think it's like 3 or 4, maybe 5 liberal cities, we're lower than 3/4 of the world for violence. Yeah. So it's
liberal cities are and that's the thing too. There are no liberal states.
Right.
It's all liberal cities.
Liberal cities, liberal counties. Yeah. So if you say, oh, everything's fine here, nobody ever gets killed, and people go, oh, that's nice. So we hear that regularly for Texarkana. It's really violent. It's really safe. It's somewhere in the middle.
Right.
I've had friends that were in the underworld in the past life, and I've heard of several murders that never got reported. I mean, they probably looked for the bad guys, the law enforcement did, but it was never publicized.
Well, and
And so you think, oh, it's safe, and then you're making a bad decision. Or if someone says our city has 20% fewer murders now than it did 3 years ago, you go, well, that's a safe place to go. Well, that's not the case. I've got a friend that reports on crime in Shreveport. If you say there was another murder downtown Shreveport, if she says that, she gets attacked.
Really?
Yeah, because they want to reinvigorate downtown Shreveport, and you can't do that if you're talking about all the murders. But if you don't know there's murders and you go downtown, you might be part of the statistics next week. So it's important that we're honest with this stuff.
Well, and I mean,
so I don't know what the answer is on this. I do know that we didn't, but it's been talked about recently that these major cities just quit reporting rapes and murders
but also you've got
violent assaults.
Less influence of. You've got less illegals coming across. You've got less people doing
They're still here, though.
Well, but only the ones that were already here. We're not.
Yeah.
I mean, so maybe you're right. That's a good point. And of course, they're saying that crime has dropped in Memphis since the National Guard's been there. Crime has dropped in D.C. since since the National Guard's been there. I think we're having an effect of positive. And once again, this is why we have to go ahead and codify some of this so that these are all executive orders. This all goes away, just like. There's a clip out there of me and Dale talking about of the lady in Virginia. Now the Democrats are back in control. They're undoing everything.
Yeah.
So we can't just depend on royal dictate. We need laws on the books.
Yeah.
And which is back to what we were talking about with the political forum and all that. We have to get rid of these cowardly Republicans who won't do anything for us.
Yeah. I think most of the candidates that were up there, I would say, running for office outside of the party itself, outside of the party offices, which is the precinct chairs, the county chair, the county vice chair. I think most of those people had good attitudes, good hearts about what they wanted to do.
Oh, I think so.
I think they want to make a positive change. But if you insist that there's no need for positive change,
you're wrong.
You are. And if you had got elected to Congress a few years ago, I think you'd have done an awesome job. At some point, there might have been somebody that can step in and do a better job.
That's right.
And that's okay to say. That doesn't mean that you're wrong or bad.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, and so then here's this from...
And people, how long has Cornyn been in office?
Too long.
I mean, since...
2010 is when he ran because he was running against... what's the guy that used to play running back, the white running back from SMU? Remember that? And he was running Craig.
I'm thinking about Phil Graham. He was a senator.
Well, Cornyn's been in since... Because I was living in Fort Worth.
Than 2010.
Well, I was living in Fort Worth when he was
have
up
a computer.
for election. Oh, yeah. Maybe it is. Maybe somebody was running. Maybe that's the race that Ted Cruz was in. I don't know.
That's right.
Am I right?
I think you're right.
Ted Cruz was running against Craig something, who used to be the running back at SMU, and he was a great running back
since 2002.
Okay, what about
So Cornyn's been in office has been a senator since 2002. Okay.
So 24 years.
One of the things that Dale talks about, he's got a show.
Dale Hall's running for Bowie
Dale
County,
Hall's, less Austin, more Texas.
Yeah, less Austin, more Texas.
The longer you've been in office, the less you are serving the people who elected you, and the more you're serving not the people who elected you.
Well,
other
that's
interests.
The 17th Amendment, right? In 17 that gave power, a popular vote to senators.
Well, they're elected by popular vote instead of appointed by the state, their states.
So once they started that, the states lost control of their senators with the 17th Amendment.
Well, that's assuming that the state's legislative bodies would have made good decisions on their senators. And I think
you can at least reelect them every 2 years.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, John Cornyn might be an amazing guy. I don't know him. He's got a nice cowboy hat, but he's been in office since 2002. there's a real good chance that he has forgotten, because they live lives of amazing privilege. Our elected officials in the U.S. Congress, reps and senators, they get so detached from how real life is. And again, I'll just go back to my original statement. The longer you're in office, the less likely you are to serve the people who elected you, and the more likely you are to serve people that you talk to every day up there. And I'm not talking about other officials. I'm talking about lobbyists, special interest groups, things like that.
Right.
So, sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, that's okay. I wanted to talk about people like John Cornyn, and this is from Mike Benz on X.com. It says, once again, Democrats vote 100% as a bloc, while a third of Republicans defect to the Democrats, giving Democrats an effective majority in the U.S. House. And then this is another post on X from Representative Keith Self. 76 Republicans joined every single House Democrat in support of earmarks for abortions, gender procedures on children, and DEI activism and partisan pet projects. And then it says, with Republicans like these, who needs Democrats? And it was 136 Republicans yay on this. And because if it passed, it would have been a Republican thing. But 76 nay, 215 Democrat nays, and so it was 291 to 136. So and it wasn't an amendment that the Republicans were offering to stop some of this. And once again, these Republicans who are never with us went against us. And that's what we were talking about at the political forum. That's what we're talking about on the U.S. Senate with John Cornyn. The Republicans are too afraid to lead, but they know they can't win if they tell everybody they're a Democrat. That's the issue.
And you can't make your decision on, I like this guy's flyer that came in the mail better than the other guys.
Right.
Because if the only person you ever talked to about me was my mom, you would think that I'd been nominated for sainthood.
Right.
My mom thought I was awesome. So if all I send out to you is, listen, I think I'm about 75% worthy of your vote. No one sends that out. The mailers come out and say that you're wonderful. And if the only information you have about a candidate is what it says on their website, you don't have all the decision. You don't have all the information to make a decision.
Right.
And too many of our party officials disagree with me. They will say, well, John Cornyn's never done anything wrong. I think everything he's ever done is great. Well, they'll say that about Greg Abbott, or they'll say that about whoever.
Well,
Brian Hughes is our state senator. I like the guy. I've been around him a lot.
Yeah.
Not as much in the last few years, but I mean, I have. He's been here. Right. I've run into him places. We've worked on a project or two. But it doesn't mean he's flawless.
Right. And nobody's saying he is.
Yeah.
Unless you're a party official.
Yeah, and the whole idea that we have to support incumbents is just dumb, because there's so many people. It's easy. I mean, if I want to be really cynical, I'd say go in front of a group and tell everybody, listen, I'm glad that you invited me here, and I'm glad you want to hear from me. But the person that means most to me right now is Jesus Christ.
That's right.
And I'm going to everything that I do, everything that I tell you, it comes through the filter first of me being a Christian, of me being a husband, a father. And I want us to do that. And the Constitution is my touchstone for everything I do. Everything is going to be done by that. And you go, wow, that's awesome. Well, I'm going to vote for him because we haven't gotten the other guy in to come talk to us yet, or you haven't heard the other guy talk, because he's going to say the same things.
Right.
And so there's too many people who want to be elected officials. Mm-hmm. They intend to be elected. And if they live in Bowie County, they can't run as a Democrat and get elected.
No.
And I'm not talking about any of our people in Bowie County being secret Democrats, but we've seen this all over the state. We've certainly seen it in the legislative bodies, legislative sessions, that we get Democrats who want to be in office, but they have to be Republicans to do it, so they have to memorize 8 or 10 phrases. And it's not till they get into office that we realize they lied.
Well, I was talking to somebody about
and so that's why we need to hear about them and hear about alternatives. But if you say, well, this person is my congressman, I love him more than anything in the entire world, and I will fight you if you say he's had a couple of bad votes.
Well, so I was talking to somebody the other day about, we have an elected position in our county that we have one Democrat. Mm-hmm. And I was telling somebody about that, and they go, you know what, though? I respect that guy because, one, he has the courage to say that's what he is. Number two, anytime I bring an issue, and this person lived in their area, anytime I bring him an issue, He goes, okay, I'll get on it. And then he goes and fixes it. So
That's
he
good.
stands for what he believes, and he says who he is, and then he does the job that he's required to do.
Yeah.
So they're like, I don't really want anybody to run against him.
He's had very few opponents.
Because that's who he is.
Yeah.
And I would
He started
rather
off as a Democrat like almost everybody did.
here, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all over the world. One of the guy was president of the John Birch Society, ran for office and stepped down, ran for office in Georgia as a Democrat. Because everybody was a Democrat back then. This is like the late 70s, I think.
Right.
And won, but was a staunch constitutionalist.
Well, so
That was the thing back then.
That was the thing with this guy. It's like, hey, this guy is, and that's all I want from Republicans. Just be who you claim to be.
Yeah, yeah. Don't come blow smoke up our skirt.
And look, as far as that goes, I know that there are people that sit across from me sometimes that are blowing smoke.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel it's my job. One, you can usually tell by the line of questions. You can hear their answer. I expect our audience is intelligent enough to know what they're looking for, and it's just my job to get the people here and let them talk. It's everybody else's job who's listening to find the truth in there. I'm not going to come here and out somebody.
And you're not mean enough, for lack of a better term, to really excoriate anybody and say, well, listen, everybody says that. What makes you different?
No,
and sometimes you say something similar to that, obviously, but
it's just not. Now, if you obviously if you come at me, I'm quick-witted enough to play mind games. We can have that fun. I don't feel that's my role. My role is to bring people on here, open a platform. We were talking yesterday. The guy who's running for HD1 as a Democrat. I talked to him. What's his name? Golly, I can't remember.
I can't either.
Anyway, I've got his card. We're going to get him on here, and he's going to come and talk. And then once we have a Republican candidate for a Texas House District 1, we're going to host a debate between the Republican and the Democrat on this show.
Cool.
And they're going to come in here and they're going to do it, and it's going to be great. And I'm going to let these guys make their points, and then the voter will decide which way they want to go. It's that simple.
Yeah. Let them talk about what they believe, especially. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, and I need to talk to Josh Bray. I know Chris has said that he will. The Democrat has said that he will. I believe that Josh Bray will say that he will if he wins. So I look forward to that. All right, let's kind of get close to wrapping it up. What else do you have going on at the Patriots? What's going on that we need to know about?
I don't think we have. Let's see, I think it's the second Thursday of February. We're going to have a straw poll. We might have a candidate or two.
No. It's not the 5th. The 5th is the first Thursday.
Okay, then I would guess it'd be the 12th.
Yeah, that only makes sense.
Yeah, we could look it up. That'd be weird, but we could. We're having a straw poll.
12th.
So whoever is there that night, we're going to have hand-counted paper ballots in person only. You can't mail your ballot in. We're going to have sample ballots that we'll get from Pat McCoy, the election administrator of Bowie County, and everybody gets to vote, and we'll count them and announce the results.
Yeah.
If we have candidates there that night, we'll do the straw poll at the end. And if I can find some more, I will. I've got invitations out to several people. I think Chip Roy, Mays Middleton, both running for AG. I've got Perla Hopkins, who's running for lieutenant governor. I talked to her a few days ago, and she wants to get here. It's just always logistics.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it comes down to. I do want to talk about something real quick. Your show can be found on OBBM.
Absolutely.
OBBMnetwork.tv.
Yep. It's quick internet search for OBBM Network, and it takes you right to it.
Yeah, OBBM, Oscar Bravo Mike. You can find it on there. So what their goal, here, let me just read so I say it right.
Yeah.
I can probably do pretty close.
We're honored to be carried by them. I've really appreciated that. So what I do is, my part of that is each day when I load this to YouTube and to Spotify and to Apple TV and to, where else am I? iHeartRadio and all the ways, then I turn around and have a file, a Google Drive with OBBM, and I load the show into there, and then they try to load them as quickly as they can get to them.
Yeah. So OBBM Say that again. OBBM Network TV provides hyper-local, citizen-led television distribution accessible through all the apps, even your phone. So you can get the OBBM Network TV app on your phone. For communities across the country, free to view, free content distribution. That means you don't have to pay to upload your content. All designed to put television in the hands of people who are actively excited about constitutional America's potential to build and not tear down. And so what they're doing is, there's a little bit selective on it. If you're flaming liberal, you could have a cooking show where you talk about recipes, but if you want to talk about being a flaming liberal, that's not what they're looking for. They're looking for family-friendly, conservative, Christian programming. And so the programming could be a podcast. The programming could be a cooking show. The programming could be you doing reporting about your area. The lady that I mentioned that talks about this stuff on Facebook, she's very excited about doing this. So the thing, OBBM Network TV is starting a channel here in Texarkana. So anybody in Texarkana that wants to put content up, video content mostly, they can, whoever wants to stream it audio, they can. But if they're putting that stuff up there, if you want to have a show, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 3 hours like we just did, you can put your information on there. So if you go to OBBMnetwork.tv and do a search for Texarkana, it'll pull it up. And the lady and it's two people that own this thing. One of them I see pretty regularly. She's a friend, and I told him I'd help him get Texarkana started. And so if you go there, you'll see my name and my phone number. And so you're welcome to call me, text me. I'm probably not going to answer unless I have you my contacts. So text me, email me. I'll tell you all about it. I'll help you get started. And if you're listening to this somewhere else in the country, text me anyway, or just go to OBBM Network.
You can
tell
find
them.
My show there by just. I don't. Last
if you
look,
go to
I'm not under the Texarkana channel.
You are.
Am I? Am I now?
Yeah.
But I'm also. You can search Zach Ratliff. I think I'm in politics and news or something too.
Yeah. So if you want to, if you have an idea for content, like we've talked to people, like there's a lady at our church. Everybody knows her. If she wanted to get on and talk for 15 minutes, maybe a lot of people come watch her stuff.
Right. One of my guests that has the In the Deep podcast, we've talked to her about it.
Yeah.
So she's going to consider
Nancy White.
She's on there.
She's on there.
All the time.
She puts a lot of stuff up there. And all it is, I think we might put, you could upload your speech to your channel or your show rather, if you wanted to. That's a cool idea. We could upload, I don't know how many video clips we have from the forum, but we could upload those.
Yeah.
Bowie County Patriots.
Getting your own channel?
We need our own show.
Yeah.
So channel is like the city, show is you.
Inside,
It's a distinction. It only really matters when you're looking at it. But anyway, the Bowie County Patriots is going to start doing that soon. I've got somebody, I've been asked for years, why don't y'all record this? And I say, do you want to do that?
Right.
And it goes away. But I have somebody that does want to help with the recording.
Premium listener?
No, because premium listener and I both
have a lot to do.
We do have our hands full.
Half premium listeners' equipment's running the studio. Thank you, premium listener.
Yeah, thank you, premium listener. The premium listener is a big help with the Bowie County Patriots. If I'm not there, he takes over, and I don't worry a bit.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for him. And I tell him that pretty often. I try to. So we have somebody, though, that wants to record the Bowie County Patriots, and so the Bowie County Patriots will have a show on OBBM Network, and it will be listed under Texarkana, but you can find it anywhere. Just look for it; it'll be there. And so the guests that we have in, we will have, when they're speaking, that's what we'll put up there.
And if you want to just view me heckling Steve or him telling me to stop talking, that will also be part of the Bowie County Patriots meeting.
Well, if we record the entire thing, yeah. So Metro Texarkana News and something, I forget what the name of it totally, on Facebook. I think they're about to have a show on OBBM.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
I need to get her on here.
So the goal, Susan's goal for OBBM is to have enough content from Texarkana that anytime you go to the Texarkana channel, it's streaming something that has been going on. And that takes obviously a pretty good bit of content to do that. But everything is on demand. Right. So I don't know how many of your shows are on there, but
I think I've got 20 in the drive. I don't know that they've all been uploaded yet.
Okay.
So, but 20 hours.
Yeah. So a lot of the politicians, you'll see that they have a show, and you can go there and see their things. And so if you want to do long form content,
that bus, like that's a nice bus. Anyway,
it's a nice bus.
Yeah,
it's like a Darth Vader of buses. So
it is.
It depends on the music that's in the background, whether it's Darth Vader or just something black.
Yeah.
It stopped though. Should we be worried?
No, it's somebody famous coming to eat.
Anyway, OBBM Network. Where was I going with that? Oh, you can have long form, which is like your podcast. You can have short form, 15, 20 minutes.
Which we originally sold this as to her, and it's migrated from 30 shows.
So you can do what you want to. If you want it to really fit in with their system, you can sell ads for your shows. So like if you want to say this is Steve's cooking show and I'm supported by so-and-so, I can sell ads. I get to keep all of that if I want to.
Right.
You can also advertise on there, but you can have content to make it useful. You can advertise on there. So they're really looking for some 27 and 54-minute shows that would support having content at the end or ads at the end. But basically, if you have a message, this is a place to put it out there. Well, it costs you nothing to sign up. It costs you nothing to put your content up because they're going to make money off the advertising later.
Well, and if you're watching this show or listening, you hear the OBBM opening and it gives the information, and at the end of the show, OBBM closing, so you can get all their information off there as well. So that's how the show opens and ends. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We used to have the opening and closing while we were here.
Yeah.
And so I'm a little far removed from the reality of it now, I guess.
Yeah, that's exactly
the main thing to get out of this. Do you have some stuff you want to put online? Do it.
Yeah.
As this grows, there'll be possibilities for making money selling ads or something. But
right, absolutely.
I mean, their vision for this thing is insane. And if you're a business, want to put some videos out there about the kind of things you do, you can put it on there.
All right.
And
there we go.
It's pretty cool.
Well, thanks to OBBM, and then thanks to all my sponsors. Thanks to Mortgage Financial here in Texarkana.
Yeah.
Thanks to Exceed Health Clinic, Dixie and the gang over there.
That's cool.
They've came on as sponsors. Thanks to Elmwood Custom Goods, and then of course Church on the Rock. And we just don't have to say it anymore because I've got it all recorded and it goes at the first of the show. All right, everybody, be safe in the ice. Have fun in the ice.
Snow.
And snow.
No ice, just snow.
And remember, in the end, we win because Jesus is King.
Amen.
And so I hope God blesses each and every one of you today.